Well, I'm Cheryl Jones, and I've been in the industry for about 11 years. I hold license in all 50 states, property and casualty license. Security America has been around since 2003, and since then we've evolved into a major competitor for the Hartfords and the Scottsdales and the West Bends and so forth. So we're very competitive with premiums and so forth. Let's see here. So let's jump right into it. Won't hold you too much longer. What is insurance? It's transferring of risk. You transfer your risk to Security America. Take on make you whole again, basically. So have a claim, just give us a call. Obviously, we'll cover it. So speaking of premiums, how are they calculated? Well, I'm an underwriter as well as a sales as well. We look at your business model, your business description, your risk, such as you going into a $5 million home or I don't know, doing tract homes or what have you. We look at all of that, take into consideration with your premiums, along with your gross sales receipts and your claims history. Okay? That goes on to that. Cause of loss, could be a fire, burglar, what have you. More hazardous, greater the threat. So, we're going through that. What are the typical coverages? We have general liability insurance, which is property damage and bodily injury. Errors and omissions, and we also, which is, a lot of people don't understand what errors and omission is. I'd like to look at it like this. Malpractice insurance for this industry. Point something. We have our base limits are $1 million, $2 million aggregate. We can go up to $5 million in excess or umbrella coverage. I'll get into later on what the difference is between excess and umbrella coverage. The deductibles are $1,000 to $25,000. Just depends on what your comfort level with the deductibles. If you should have a claim, the defense costs, such as your lawyer fees, are outside of your limits, because sometimes the lawyer fees will eat up your limits. And so if you have $1 million claim and the lawyer fees is $500,000, well, guess what? There's a deficit of $5,000 or $500,000. Okay. It is a occurrence-based form, which is the broadest and the best form of coverage that you have. Okay, versus a claims-made form. I believe that's on the slide further down. Claims made, both incident and claim within term policy. So that means to you is if you should have a claim today, and let's say that, or you go install the alarm today, and let's say 2 years from now, you no longer, well, you won't be a Security America policy holder if your claims made, but if you have a claims made policy, the event occurred today, installed it yesterday, they don't report it until 2 years later, it's not covered under claims made. That's why occurrence form is the best form. Because if you installed it yesterday, claim happened today, it's covered 2 years from now.
And that's what you offer.
That's what we offer. Okay, so what does all these terms mean? You hear indemnification, subrogation, limits of liability, all these things. It's like, what does that mean? So indemnification means being made whole, not to make you rich, just to bring you back whole again if you should have a claim. All right, subrogation means transferring your rights to the insurance company. So we stand in your shoes if you should have a subcontractor, for example, who goes in and runs off and made a claim for you, got this big old mess and what have you. We stand in your shoes and go and pay on your behalf, and then we subrogate against the subcontractor. Okay? Limits of liability, which means that whatever your limits are for the year, such as $1 million, go back to the occurrence, meaning you have one single event up to $1 million worth of coverage, or your aggregate means that you have up to $2 million of coverage. So you can have one $2 million claim, or two $1 million claim. Does that make sense?
Within a period?
Within a period.
Which is?
12 months. Hold harmless, not liable for any injuries or damages caused by individuals signing the contract. That's in the very, very fine print of your contracts. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. All right. So I get that question a lot. How much insurance do I need? Well, we offer, like I said, $1 million worth of limits per year with the $2 million aggregate. But is that enough? What is your worst case scenario? If you're going into a $5 million home, I would suggest getting more than $1 million, because what happens if that $5 million home burns down? It's not enough coverage, right? So I would suggest get higher limits. Or what are your assets worth? What is your business worth to you? Is it $2 million? Is it $3 million? You want to look at it as well. If let's say you have a $5 million home and the homeowner comes after you personally, how's your company set up? Is it an LLC, corporation, what have you? How's it set up? Look at all that and take that all into consideration when considering how much do I need. Let's see here, we'll keep going. All right, difference between, earlier I talked about excess and umbrella coverage. Excess only raises your general liability limits only. That's it. Umbrella coverage goes over top of your general liability insurance, your workers' compensation insurance, and your auto. So that's a broader coverage. I would suggest the umbrella coverage over the excess coverage. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive because it's a little bit broader, covers a lot more, but I would suggest that. Just as I said. So, a lot of people don't have contracts. And I would ask, why not? Because that is your first line of defense against a claim, okay? Obviously, take everything you own if you don't have contracts, okay? And if you don't, we recommend Ken Kirschenbaum. He's out of New York. You can go get your installations, contracts, a whole range of contracts that he offers to this industry. Or if you have your local lawyer, you can always go to your local lawyer, esquire, whatever you call them, and get your contracts drawn up. We'll review them, make sure that everything is in order as far as having your limits of liability, the subrogation clauses, everything is needed to protect your company. Okay? Now, let's talk about claims. How can you prevent a claim? Install what you agreed to install. That's it. Make it simple. If they ask for the moon and back, put it in writing. You're installing XYZ. Test what you have. Keep a record of it. Keep track of and act on signals and so forth. Get the contracts in writing as part of the work order. Have job safety meetings, driver safety and ladder safety policies in place. And if you want to give me some examples of a claim, I'll be glad to discuss them with you. But those are some ways that you can prevent your company from having a claim.
Do you recommend, and I don't know if any of you all do, I was connected to a construction company some years ago, and they did OSHA safety meetings once a week on their job sites. Is that something that you recommend in this industry? And do any of you all do that sort of thing? You do?
Our builders actually hold us to this.
They require you to do that?
No, they conduct it as a mandatory meeting.
Right. With their people. But do you, with your people? Got it. Okay. I was curious.
Yeah, we do recommend that you have those once a week, however often you can with your employees. Just get it, just make sure they're trained safety-wise, back braces. I don't know if you climb ladders or what have you, but make sure they know how to climb a ladder, because believe it or not, most people don't. Some people don't.
Question. You mentioned keeping track of and act on the test signals, trouble signals, blah, blah, blah. We do that.
Mm-hmm.
What is your retention record suggested?
I would say keep them, every 6 months? Is that what you're asking me? Like,
How long do you need to keep track of those signals and, you know what I mean? How long do you need to keep the
how long
record?
do we?
Like my IRS form, I gotta keep 8 years. How long do I keep this test signal record, would you say?
Well, anything with us is like, just keep it for 5 years, for example. You can always go back, because you never know what could happen within 5 years. I know when I keep my records, I keep them for 5 years. So you can do it like that, or if 5 years is too long for you, make it 3, because you just never know.
So there's not really a standard
No.
industry answer, okay.
Right, it's not really one to say, okay,
All right.
keep it this long and
That
go
might be a
away.
good question for your attorney locally. Basically saying,
If you don't want to have one, Ken Kirschenbaum is really,
He's the one that wrote our contracts and
Yeah.
stuff, so. Right, right,
he's a-
you know.
And you're a policy holder.
Yes.
Okay, how can you impact a claim? Notify your insurance company immediately, obviously. Upload the event log from the panel if possible. Print the central station log and get call recordings. Collect statements and employees on the job site or responding to the job site. Notify all employees where requests for information to be directed. Oh, sorry, going too fast. Those are ways that you can impact your claim. All right. Now that you've been served, what do you do? That's the most, probably the scariest part of getting a claim, is not knowing what next. Don't discuss it with your customer. Call us. All right. Notify your insured immediately, send copies of demands of summons and legal requests. Do not admit or take responsibility for anything. Gather your contract, service tickets, proposal, and other documents pertaining to the customer and forward to the claims manager. And cooperate and authorize the insurer to obtain the records pertaining to the occurrence. Any questions? Kind of self-explanatory, just to kind of protect yourself. Yes. All right, why Security America? We have stable pricing, we're industry expertise, as we discussed about claims and the contracts. Our board of directors almost, or actually most of them are business owners, just such as yourself. We're backed by the ESA, it's a member benefit, quality forms, no hidden surprises, no claims, no medical exclusions, ward exclusions. On our website, there's a policy comparison. It compares our policy with other companies, so you can go out there any time of the day, look, and see how your policy compares to Security America. We support this industry. How do we support the industry? We go to the ESX, give a keynote, silver sponsorship, informational seminars such as this one. We publish in the Security Nation. We send out quarterly emails to ESA members, and so forth. Contract reviews and resources. Perfect. And that watchdog against inferior insurance product. And I said about going to our website, looking at the policy comparison. That's what we do. It's on our website. And how can you contact me? There's my email address, phone number, and our president, Mike Keegan. You can always contact me. I do have business cards if anyone's interested. And that is it for me.